Hello, one and all. Welcome to Diving Deep. It's good to be here with you. And this is Book of Numbers, Part 4. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right back into it. We left off in Numbers chapter 7. And then it's starting in verse 11. For the Lord said to Moses, they shall offer their offering 1 liter each day for the dedication of the altars. Each leader, each chosen leader of each tribe, makes an offering, 1 per day. And and all of the offerings were identical. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the offerings. If you want to know, just read chapter 7. And throughout the chapter, each leader comes forth on 1 per day, and they make, as I said, they make the same identical offering. So, let us now move to chapter 8. Okay. Well, the altar of the tabernacle has been dedicated. Okay, and now we're going into the arrangement of the lamps, verses 1 through 4, chapter 8. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron, and say to him, When you arrange the lamps, the 7 lamps shall give light in front of the lampstand. And Aaron did so. He arranged the lamps to face forward. He arranged the lamps to face toward the front of the lampstand, as the Lord commanded Moses. All right, now you notice it says 7 lamps. The lampstand is a menorah. Okay? That is the lampstand, and also the menorah was the only source of light in the entire tabernacle. Now, you ever stop to consider, what a menorah looks like? It has a central light, with 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. Now, you have 6. That's a total of 6 other lamps, on the sides of the central light. Well, the central light obviously represents God, represents Jesus, and the other 6, that represents man. 6, as you know, is the number of man. And man is incomplete. But when the central man by himself is incomplete, but with that central light, God, you have 7 lights, and 7 is the number of completion. Okay? You understand why it's designed that way? Okay. Another thing that you should be aware of is that when you count up the number of components of the menorah, which includes the cups and the leaves and the stems, you know what the total number is? 66. 66 components in the menorah. Where else do you find number 66? Books in the Bible. See? You realize how precise God is? How every single thing that He designs, even the smallest little thing, means something? I mean, His mind is just it's beyond anything I can comprehend, the way His mind works. It's amazing. Okay. All right, keep going. And Aaron did so. Verse 3, he arranged the lamps to face toward the front of the lampstand, as the Lord commanded. Now this workmanship of the lampstand was hammered gold, from its shaft to its flowers. It was hammered work, according to the pattern which the Lord had shown Moses, so he made the lampstand. God designs everything. Yes. God designs the ark. He designs the Ark of the Covenant, designs the tabernacle, everything. It's incredible. Everything is dependent upon Him. All right. Verse 5. Okay, then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take the Levites from the children of Israel, and cleanse them ceremonially. Thus you shall do to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of purification on them. Let them shave all their body. Let them wash their clothes, so make themselves clean. Then let them take a young bull with its grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil. And you shall take another bull as a sin offering, and you shall bring the Levites before the tabernacle of meeting, and you shall gather together the whole congregation of the children of Israel. So you shall bring the Levites before the Lord, and the children of Israel shall lay their hands on the Levites. And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord like a wave offering from the children of Israel, that they may perform the work of the Lord. Right. The Levites, as said before, they are being cleansed and are being dedicated to God. Now remember, the Levites are a substitute of the firstborn child and firstborn of livestock, which God declared belonged to him. Back in the book of Exodus. The Levites are a substitute. Therefore, the Levites belong to God. And therefore, they have to go through a special cleansing, which is what's being done here. Okay? You mentioned how they have to shave, not just their head, but their whole body. All of the body hair has to be shaved off, and that is an outward representation of consecration and purity. Similar to offering yourself as a living sacrifice, as mentioned in Romans 12:2. Okay. Paul talks about having a transformed mind. Well, in order to have a transformed mind, you must first offer yourself as a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your carnal mind, your old way of thinking. All right. Continuing on. Okay, verse 10, So you shall bring the Levites before the Lord, and the children of Israel shall lay their hands on the Levites, and Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord like a wave offering from the children of Israel, that they may perform the work of the Lord. Okay? Then the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of young bulls, and you shall offer one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering to the Lord. Now, you see how that works? The children of Israel, they lay their hands on the Levites, and then they lay their hands upon these bulls, and then the bulls are slaughtered. It's like a transferring of, you can transfer for anointings by the laying on of hands. Well, I think at this point, impurity is being transferred from the children of Israel to the Levites, and then on to the bulls, and they're sacrificed. All right. 13. And you shall stand the Levites before Aaron and his sons, and then offer them like a wave offering to the Lord. Then you shall separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. After that, the Levites shall go to the service of the tabernacle of meeting. So you shall cleanse them and offer them like a wave offering. For they are wholly given to me from among the children of Israel. I have taken them for myself, instead of all who open the womb, the firstborn of all the children of Israel. For the firstborn among the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I struck all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, I sanctified them to myself. I have taken the Levites instead of all the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and his sons from among the children of Israel, to do the work for the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the meeting, and to make atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near the sanctuary. Now, again, he's taking the Levites instead of the firstborn son and the firstborn beast. Substitution. Just like he took Christ's death, for ours. Instead of us dying, Christ died. He accepted that as payment for sins. For the wages of sin is death. There has to be a death, blood shed for sin, and accepted Christ, Jesus, in substitution for us. So much of, the plan of salvation is being laid out right here. Continuing. Verse 20. Thus Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so the children of Israel did to them. And the Levites purified themselves and washed their clothes. Then Aaron presented them like a wave offering before the Lord, and Aaron made atonement for them to cleanse them. After that, the Levites went in to do their work in the tabernacle of meeting before Aaron and his sons, as the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so they did to them. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This is what pertains to the Levites. From 25 years old and above, one may enter to perform service in the work of the tabernacle of meeting, and at the age of 50 years they must cease performing the work and shall work no more. So there's a time limit for the Levites in performing the services of the tabernacle. They start at 25 years old and they stop at 50 years old. Okay, but that doesn't mean the Levites stop working altogether. They don't go into retirement. Look what it says in verse 26. It says, They may minister with their brethren in the tabernacle of meeting to attend to needs, but they themselves shall do no work. They still minister, but they don't do the work of the tabernacle. Thus you shall do to the Levites regarding their duties. Okay. All right. Chapter 9. Starting at verse 1. Now the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year that they had come out of the land of Egypt. Okay. Hang on. Now it's been said that it's only like an 11-day journey between Israel and the Promised Land. Well, here we are already in the second year of exiting Egypt. You see, this was a required time to be in the wilderness because, because Israel had to be prepared to enter the Promised Land. They had come out of Egypt, but they still had Egypt in them. Yeah, they had been a slave mentality in them, and that had to be beat out of them. They had to learn the ways of the Lord. They had to get to know their God, and they had to learn how to fight. For 400 years they were slaves. They weren't soldiers. So, and they're going to have to fight for the land. So a lot has to happen before they can enter. All right, just so you know that. Continuing on. Verse 2. Let the children of Israel keep the Passover at its appointed time. On the 14th day of this month at twilight, you shall keep it at its appointed time. According to all its rites and ceremonies, you shall keep it. So Moses told the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover, and they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at twilight in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did. Now there were certain men who were defiled by a human corpse, so they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and Aaron that day. And those men said to him, "We became defiled by a human corpse. Why are we kept from presenting the offering of the Lord at its appointed time among the children of Israel?" And Moses said to them, "Stand still, that I may hear what the Lord will command concerning you." Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, if any of you or your posterity is unclean because of a corpse, or is far away on a journey, he may still keep the Lord's Passover on the 14th day of the second month at twilight." Okay. So, God's making provision by those who are unclean or unavailable. He's allowing them to keep the Passover 14th day of not the first month, but the second month. Isn't that sweet? God makes these accommodations, for those who need them. All right. It says, "They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They shall leave none of it until morning, nor break one of its bones. According to all the ordinances of the Passover, they shall keep it. But the man who is clean and is not on a journey and ceases to keep the Passover, that same person will be cut off from his people because he did not bring the offering of the Lord at its appointed time. That man shall bear sin." You see this? So anybody who can keep the Passover and willfully chooses to not do it, well, that man is to be cut off. Because this is a willful act of rebellion. This isn't a matter of being unable to do it. You can do it, but you're choosing not to. And God will not tolerate rebellion. Okay? Verse 14. "And if a stranger dwells among you and would keep the Passover, he must do so according to the rite of the Passover and according to its ceremony. You shall have one ordinance for the stranger and the narrative of the land." So, a stranger, I guess a non-Israelite, can keep the Passover too. Accommodations are made for the strangers in regards to Passover, not just the Israelites. Right. Okay, verse 15. Now on the day that the tabernacle was raised up, the cloud covered the tabernacle from the tent. The cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony, from evening until morning. It was above the tabernacle like the appearance of fire. So it always was. The cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Why was this? Well, this is the covering of God, being under God's covering, being under God's wing, as it's spoken of in Psalms 91. The cloud, protected the Israelites from, the blazing rays of the sun. It kept them cool, during the daytime. And then by fire, it provided a source of heat, because desert nights can be very, very cold. So, again, this is God providing for them, both night and day, a cloud and then by fire. All right, continuing on. 16. So it was always, the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Whenever the cloud was taken up from above the tabernacle, after that the children would journey, and in the place where the cloud settled, the children of Israel would pitch their tents. At the command of the Lord, the children of Israel would journey, and at the command of the Lord, they would camp. As long as the cloud stayed above the tabernacle, they remained in camp. So, whenever the cloud stood still, Israel stood still. When the cloud started to move, Israel moved. That's what they had to do to stay under the covering of God. And God moves. You know, God is not going to stay in the same place forever. No. He will move, and we have to become aware of when He moves. You know, that's what we got to know God, who says, are you moving, or are you staying still? If you are moving, lead me on. Yeah. If you've been standing still for too long, you better start wondering if you're still under the covering. And if you're not, you know, you need to cry out. God says, lead me back to you. All right. Verse 19. Even when the cloud continued many days above the tabernacle, the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord and did not journey. So it was when the cloud was above the tabernacle a few days, according to the command of the Lord. They would remain encamped. According to the command of the Lord, they would journey. So it was when the cloud remained only from evening until morning. When the cloud was taken up in the morning, they would journey, whether by day or by night. Whether the cloud was taken up, they would journey. Whether it was 2 days, a month, or a year that the cloud remained above the tabernacle, the children of Israel would remain in camp and not journey. So sometimes they would stay there they could stay there 2 days, or a month, or even an entire year. An entire year, God didn't move. Well, I don't know if that was truly the case. Might have been hypothetical, but you get the idea. The cloud remained above the tabernacle. The children would remain encamped and not journey. But when it was taken up, they would journey. At the command of the Lord, they remained encamped, and the command of the Lord, they journeyed. They kept the charge of the Lord at the command of the Lord by the hand of Moses. Okay. Chapter 10. 2 silver trumpets. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Make 2 silver trumpets for yourself. You shall make them of hammered work. You shall use them for the calling of the congregation, and for the directing the movements of the camps. When they blow both of them, all the congregation shall gather before you at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. But if they blow only one, then the leaders, the heads of the divisions of Israel, shall gather to you. When you hear the sound, the advance, when you sound the advance, the camps that lie on the east side shall then begin their journey. When you sound the advance the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall begin their journey. They shall sound the call for them to begin their journeys. And when the assembly is to gather together, you shall blow, but not sound the advance. So these commands are being issued by 2 trumpets. Now, because these trumpets serve different purposes, obviously they make different sounds. And it's up to the folks of Israel, at the very least the leaders of each tribe, to discern each sound. Yeah. Jesus says, for those who have ears, let him hear. There are voices out there, but which one are you listening to? Can you discern the voice of God from the voice of the enemy? Yeah, there needs to be discernment. You know, that is the symbolic message that's being preached here in regards to these trumpets. Let's continue. Verse 8, the sons of Aaron, the priests, shall blow the trumpets, and these shall be to you as an ordinance forever throughout your generations. When you go to war in your land against the enemy who oppresses you, then you shall sound the alarm with the trumpet, and you will be remembered before the Lord your God, and you will be saved from your enemies. Listen, You know, sometimes when bad things happen to us, we say, God, why did you let this happen? Well, it could be that God warned you that it was about to happen, but you weren't listening. No, you didn't discern the word of the Lord. And so we've got to pursue God, get close to Him. You know, if we want to hear His warnings. All right. Okay. Verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness, in your appointed feasts, at the beginning of your months, you shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, and they shall be a memorial for you before your God. I am the Lord your God. All right. Now, departure from Sinai, verse 11. Now it came to pass on the 20th day of the second month, in the second year, that the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle of the testimony, and the children set out from the wilderness of Sinai on their journey. Then the cloud settled down in the wilderness of Paran. So they started out for the first time according to the command of the Lord by the hand of Moses. The standard of the camp of the children of Judah set out first according to their armies. Over their army was Nahshon, son of Amminadab. Over the army of the tribe of the children of Issachar was Nathaniel, the son of Zuar. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliab, the son of Helon. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari set out. Okay, and it just continues on and on with each tribe and each one leaving. You know, there's a specific order in which these tribes leave, and it's observed. Okay, we'll just skip down through that. Let's go down to verse 29, chapter 10. Now Moses said to Hobab, the son of Ruel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, "We are setting out for the place of which the Lord said, I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised good things to Israel." And he said to them, "I will not go, but I will depart to my own land and my relatives." And so Moses said, "Please do not leave. Now, inasmuch as you know how we are to camp in the wilderness, and you can be our eyes. And it shall be, if you go with us, indeed it shall be, that whatever good the Lord will do to us, the same we will do to you." So they departed from the mountain of the Lord on a journey of 3 days, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them 3 days. And that is all the time we have, and we will join you next time for part 5.